Now, in a Asia Cup that so far has been quite one-sided, with a couple of teams, notably India and to an extent Sri Lanka, looking so dominant. Who would have thought that one of the most exciting games of the tournament would be played between minnows Oman and the title favourites India? But that's exactly what we witnessed tonight. It's late at night here. I'm coming to you live from Abu Dhabi with my match report, India versus Oman, and it's being hailed as the most exciting game of the tournament. I wouldn't say that. I'd say probably close second, because the most exciting game has to be UAE. No, I think the most exciting game has to be Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka. Yes, that for me was the most exciting game. But what really happened in this Oman game? Who would have thought that we would have been discussing anything but some few good Indian performances? But that's not what my match report is all going to be about. There are a lot of question marks over India after the Oman game. Do I agree with all of them? I don't think so. I'll address them one by one. First things first, the victory margin is 21 runs. Now, 21 runs in a T20 game, a victory margin, I think, is a handsome victory. Remember, T20 encounters are close, even when two teams that are not really evenly matched. 21 runs is a big enough margin, I would say. Yes, why is this win being looked at very closely? Why is it being scrutinized? Because the 21 run win margin is between India and Oman. To Oman, kudos, well done. I think this is something that no one expected. They clearly have punched above their weight against India. I'll also go so far as to say that they did give India quite a scare. Who knows? One over of 20 odd runs, and the result could have been different. Would that result have made any difference? That's another matter. But as I said, kudos to Oman to have finished this tournament on a high. For an associate nation to have performed this will give them a lot of confidence going forward. Also, you mustn't remember that Oman was in disarray before this tournament started. Unlike a few other teams here in the tournament, Oman, because of their internal politics of their cricket board, had completely changed their team. And yet, for them to have pushed India this way, thumbs up, Oman cricket. Now to the Indian team. Should Indian team be scrutinized? Should Indian team be worried? Should Indian team have a sleepless night ahead of a Pakistan game? Answer to that, I think, is no. I think all of these issues have been exaggerated. First thing, as I mentioned, and why, I'll give you an explanation. First thing, as I mentioned, the victory margin is big enough. Secondly, you'd have to say that India were not really pushing themselves. In horse racing, there are two different things, canter and gallop. So canter is, running fast, but really not reaching your peak. So India could have galloped, but they did not. They kept it at a canter. And fair point. I don't think there was anything wrong with India trying to experiment the way they did. If they hadn't experimented, we only would have said that, listen, this was a good chance to try a few other bowlers. And by the way, the squad that India has got for this tournament, any player could play, but a lot of them are rusty. You needed to give them a chance in Arshdeep, in Harshit, Rana. That's about the changes that they made to keep someone like a Jasprit Bumrah out, to keep someone like a Varun Chakravarti out, for Suryakumar Yadav to bat at number 11, for you to put Sanju, Samson up. All of these things were experiment, and which is what allowed Oman to, be this close. I mean, you could ask questions of Oman as well. One way of looking at it is that, did Indian fast bowlers fail? No wickets early on, no wickets in the power play. What was Harshit, Rana, Arshdeep doing? Not too many wickets in the first 10 overs. But the contrary view to look at that is that, they were going at 5.5, at best 6 runs and over also in that phase. So I think Oman was also being very conservative. Had they been trying to bat at par, they would have lost a few wickets. So I think you also have to look at, glass half full or glass half empty. So let's answer those questions one by one. Suryakumar Yadav batting at number 11. I know a lot of criticism coming his way. I don't see a problem with that. He's the man in form, got you runs in the last game. Why did he need to bat higher up the order? And how high? At best 9, okay. At best you could say not 11, but I would say 9, because above that, Harshit, Rana and Akshar Patel, Sanju, Samson, Shivam Dubey, I think all of them need a bit of a, warm up, a bit of time to be spent in the middle. So I think on that sense, I would say not a bad call. I wouldn't say that there was a bit of an issue. He was batting at 11 just fine. Let others take a chance. See, if India, and then a lot of people are saying that India was sweating, India were worried. See, if India were worried, Akshar Patel wouldn't have bowled just one over. Na? He bowled 1 over for 4 runs. You could have got him back. I think the game was always under control. India didn't panic. They knew that it's okay. Let's give other bowlers a chance. Let's put them under pressure. Let's see how they can perform in that situation. If India were worried, they would have played a Bumrah, Varun Chakravarti, as I mentioned earlier. They didn't do all of that. I think India can take a few notes from this particular game, which will serve them well going forward. Note number 1 is, you need someone alongside Jasprit Bumrah to be your fast bowling option. Congratulations to Harshit for becoming the first Indian bowler with 100 T20I wickets, I agree. But the fact is he's not getting regular game time. So, for him to be on top of his game will require a little bit of more match practice. So this is something you know. Harshit Rana can be expensive. Can he be the guy that you can have in the team? I don't know. Hardik Pandya with the ball, is he really firing on all cylinders? Not quite, so really needs time. So the one big lesson I think India can take from this game going forward, and I've really believed in that they can still afford to drop one batter. See, India's batting, even today, 180 plus. Most games they'll get above par total. The problem for India arises in their bowling. I think their bowlers are leaking a lot of runs today. They tried 8 bowlers, a lot of part-timers, but what did that tell you? That part-timers really can't do the job. Your rest of the fast bowlers also not doing the job. So what would you want to do? I would want to strengthen India's bowling. I would want to play a Bumrah, a Harshit, as well as Hardik Pandya, because that seems to be a slightly weak area, whether it's death bowling, whether it's picking wickets early on. You'd want to play more bowlers. Your batting is doing so well. Everyone today, Sanju, Samson also, I think man of the match, also is doing well. So do you really need to focus on your batting and bat till number 8? I don't think so. Get in an extra bowler, drop a batter. I think that's one lesson that India can take going forward from this game. Not to worry about it, but treat it as a lesson. And I think that's the one big lesson that India can take from this particular encounter. So far as for a lot of people to say that, listen, now India should be worried if Oman can push them like this, because I think Pakistan dismissed them very cheaply, 70 odd if I'm not mistaken, and look, they've scored 160 odd versus India. So see, Pakistan will trouble India. I always say, doesn't matter if A has beaten B and B has beaten C, that C will definitely lose to A. I don't think so. Even now, India start versus Pakistan as the overwhelming favourite. I repeat, India also kind of allowed Oman, to get this close to them. Had they been at their best, it would have been once again a mismatch. So India again start as a favourite. But what this game also tells you, that this is the nature of T20 cricket. On a given day, 2 or 3 of your players don't work, anything can happen. And I think that's the other lesson that you know from T20 cricket. So whether you're playing Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan going forward, India will always start as favourite. But in T20 cricket, 2 or 3 bad overs can turn the game around. And I think the Indian team also knows that. And this Oman game just reiterated that. The only worry I would say genuinely for India, apart from, maybe they should think about getting a proper 6th bowler in the 11, was that fall that Akshar Patel had. I don't know whether he's got a concussion or not. We'll get to know that tomorrow. I'll be at the press conference, so I'll bring you all the latest updates on Sports Today. But as of now, doesn't seem anything serious, because he's going to be very crucial for India going forward. So that's the latest updates from Abu Dhabi. Tomorrow I'll be joining you from Dubai, not too far away from where I'm coming to you live from. Meanwhile, give us a like on the video, enjoying our content. Share it with your friends as well who love cricket and cricket related news. Nikhil Naz signing off from Abu Dhabi.